Hi everyone, my name is Stephen Burgess and I'm the UK Sales Manager here at MyWorkpapers UK, and I want to welcome you to this recorded demonstration showing you how MyWorkpapers will revolutionise how you complete your year-end accounting jobs. Saving time, even hours per job, by standardising your workflow, processes and content to improve quality of work and create efficiencies within your firm. MyWorkpapers creates a virtual binder suited to any type of work, year-end, audit or personal tax, creating a platform solution for your practice. Partnering with leading software providers in the UK, we now integrate with Iris, Forbes, Xero and QuickBooks, allowing you to seamlessly import your client's data into MyWorkpapers. Note, we do have a Sage integration being developed which will be on the way very soon. If you are using any other software, you can simply import through excel.csv. We also have our own Office 365 integration that you'll see more of in our demonstration. Once imported, you'll be able to complete all of your work, collaborate with your clients and post adjustments on file. Quite simply, we aim to be a central platform for all of your workpaper needs. MyWorkpapers utilises content from Mercia to ensure your files are completely compliant. We also update the Mercia content whenever additions or amendments are made so that you don't have to, removing the need for your own Mercia subscription. Alternatively, use our year-end workpaper pack to streamline your accounts preparation engagements, increase profitability and to standardise compliance. Lastly, you have the ability to completely customise your workpapers to replicate your own in-house methodology that you may be using. MyWorkpapers solves a huge amount of problems that commonly occur within firms that we are speaking to. Do any of these problems sound familiar to you? No standardisation between your teams or staff. Are people working different ways, using outdated templates or making it up as they go along? Stuck on a desktop product, meaning a lack of collaboration between your teams, on or off-site, unable to work flexible hours or even from home? We see firms spending up to 1 hour and 30 minutes per client building a file each year in some cases, which is all wasted time that you could be using elsewhere. Paper files still taking over the office, expensive to create, move and store. No visibility on where all of your jobs are at in real time, and that makes it much more difficult to manage those workloads. No central platform for all your types of work such as monthlies, quarterlies, year-end, audit or personal tax. Difficulty in keeping up with industry change. Making Tax Digital is a prime example of this, where there are firms who are ready for the change and firms who are not. What type of firm do you want to be? Again, welcome to this demonstration and let's jump straight into the product. As mentioned before, MyWorkpapers is a cloud-based platform for you to complete all of your work on. Firms that we speak to find that they are tired of not being able to access their data when out at their clients, or at home finishing off a job to meet a deadline, or just being able to work flexibly. MyWorkpapers gives you back that freedom without the cost of maintaining expensive local servers or desktop software, and without compromising on security with all your data backed up on Rackspace Tier 1 servers here in the UK. Let's now log into the software by heading to the top right hand side of our website and clicking sign in. We provide each user with their own unique login to the software so that any work completed can be tracked through the audit trail and to ensure that the correct permissions are associated to the correct team members for security. Now we've logged in, we come to our dashboard. The dashboard is the first screen that you see and is designed to give you an overview of all of the files that the individual is invited into. This means that if they are not invited into a client, they will not be able to access the client data. Firms are spending a huge amount of time and resources to collate together an overview of the work in progress without ever achieving real-time results. The dashboard provides that snapshot of all of your activity in one place without any of the hard work. Before I run through the 5 widgets on the screen, I want to point out the green banner at the top of the page that says MyWorkpapers. This would usually have your own firm name listed here, and to the right hand side you can see our friendly interface provides you with your practice settings. It also gives you a direct contact us link to our support team and our help centre. This will also be where you find the Mercia supporting example documents if you choose the Mercia methodology for your files. Back to the dashboard, let's look at our activity. The activity feed gives you visibility over any updates that have happened to files that you have access to. For example, if somebody completes a work paper or creates a review point, this will be displayed. Note, it will also keep anybody else who's invited into the file up to date, so managers or partners can see work progressing easily. The Your Files section will show you a visual analysis of the status of your files for that period, clearly displaying which engagements are not started, are in progress, or that have been completed and archived. You can even drill down into these to enter each file specifically. To the right, the Review Point widget is the most widely used as it provides real-time collaboration between your staff or clients. It highlights how you can communicate within the application from any location, on site at a client's or from at the desk in the office. Used to track outstanding jobs and to present queries or considerations on the file, it is common feedback from our clients that this makes a huge difference to the way everyone can collaborate within the application. We'll be going through a quick workflow of this later on. To the bottom left of the page, we've got My Recent Files. Now this does exactly what it says on the tin, and it provides you with easy access to any recent files that you've recently accessed. To the bottom right hand corner, you've got the Key Document Completion section, which will allow you to track any work papers within your engagement files. This includes your supporting documents. For example, you are able to track if all of your engagement letters have been reviewed and finalised, or even signed off, and what may be outstanding, giving you visibility from the staff member level up to partner on work that's been completed. It is also used to track niche groups of clients with specific work papers pertaining to them. Trying to do this practically without software is an enormous time-consuming task, whereas on our dashboard it's available in an instant. We're now going to go to the next tab along, called the My Files section. You may still be storing your files as hard copies and binders that are stacked up in storage all around your office. This really cannot continue as a way forward for your firm. It costs money to store them, but also wastes massive amounts of space within an office, where that space could be used more productively. This is where all of your engagement files will now be stored within My Workpapers, allowing access to any file from whichever period at any time. The search engine allows you to easily search for the file that you're looking for by name or by filtering down the search parameters. Take note that you can also see all file types here, year-end or audit, as we are a platform for all types of work. I'm going to be doing a search today for my client Bob. Now I've selected my client file, we're presented on the right hand side with key information. We have visibility over how complete the file is, which template was used, and also the period and prior period that it covers. If I expand the engagement team section, you'll see with the right permissions I can control access and limit who does or does not have permission to view this particular file. This is not something easily done when working with physical files or just basic Excel digital copies. For this demonstration, we're going to create a new file from scratch, so selecting the drop-down menu on the My Files tab allows me to create a new file. The first thing to do is to select a workpaper pack or template as it's generally called. You can see in the middle we have the selection of Audit Mercia templates available, and underneath we have our Mercia Audit Exempt templates, also known as Mercia Year End. We update these Mercia templates so that you do not have to. This ensures compliance and means you will no longer have to pay a subscription to Mercia. Many of our firms find the Mercia year-end templates a bit too comprehensive for the majority of their clients, and as such, we created our own year-end generic pack, which is streamlined and cut down, but is more in line with the work a firm will be doing on an accounting job file in practice today. At the top of the list, however, you will see an area for firm templates. This is our first layer of customization available to you. If our standard templates are not suited to your needs, you can completely customize them to suit your own firm, or build your own in-house methodology within My Workpapers and save them as a firm template. This allows you to standardize the workpapers, programs, and checklists across your entire practice. You may even want separate templates depending on the type of client you're working with, limited company, partnership, or sole trader. Today we're going to focus on our year-end generic content. Next, we enter in our client name. I'm going to be using Bob's Tool Hire today. If the client was not already in My Workpapers, you can easily add them in from here. I'll then select my year-end date of the 31st of December 2018, accept the user agreement, and then click Create New File. As you can see, almost instantly the file is created, and you can now see that the banner at the top of the page has changed and shows that we are in a year-end file with the year-end the 31st of December 2018. You can see underneath that the folder sections are already populating, but before we go any further, I'm going to change the status of the file so that anybody else checking work, perhaps a manager or partner, knows that I've now started work on this. These statuses can be customized when you create custom templates to suit your needs. For example, some will use this to notify the tax team that the file is ready for them to come and do their work. The statuses also have functionality to send notifications to multiple individuals and again highlight how collaboratively you can work. This all feeds back into our workflow manager to show the progress of the file, giving visibility over progress and helping to manage your workload. We'll show that in more detail towards the end of the demonstration. To the left of the page, you'll have the completion statistics. This gives clear visibility of how many work papers have or have not been started and are in progress. Again, trying to report at this level of work in progress is significantly difficult using spreadsheets or paper, whereas through My Workpapers, it's updated automatically. Note at the moment we have 34 work papers not started. You will also see on the screen that we have been prompted to import our trial balance, so I'm going to click here and enter the integrations page. MyWorkpapers integrates with Iris, Xero, QuickBooks and Forbes, meaning that you can seamlessly import your data with no manual entry. As mentioned previously, we also have a Sage integration on the way. If you are using any other bookkeeping systems, you can still import your data from Excel in .csv. Today though, I'm going to use the Xero integration. I simply click on the Xero icon, log into Xero, make sure the correct client is selected, and then I can choose to either import the current year, prior year, or both trial balances. Today I'm going to import both. Select the accounting structure required and click import. That's now been imported and I'm going to head back into the trial balance. This is your trial balance that will update as you complete your engagement file with notes, references and journals posted to the file. Now your trial balance has been imported, MyWorkpapers will be the central point for you to complete all of your work. You will notice that some of the accounting lines are displayed as pink. This means that MyWorkpapers does not recognise the code based on the accounting structure you have selected. This can happen if you're using custom codes within the chart of accounts. However, you can easily map these individually by using the drop-down menu. If you are importing your data from any system where we do not have a standard mapping structure, you can completely create your own and save this for use on other clients. So as an example, if you're bringing your data from Sage, on the first client you would need to manually select which lead schedules to associate the accounts to. However, once you complete that, you can save that accounting structure so that when you add on your second Sage client, you simply use the accounting structure created previously to map. This means you'll have very little manual entry work to do when importing your data into MyWorkpapers. Get the accounting structure set up and simply apply it over all relevant clients. After seamlessly importing our data, I am now happy with how it's been mapped, so let's head back to the working paper index and see what's changed. If you now look to the left hand side of the page, you can see our completion statistics have changed and the not started number has risen to 44. This is because the software is taking a look at your trial balance and it is dynamically building your workpaper file by looking at your financial information. In the same way, you may be printing everything off as a pack and then sifting through, pulling out anything that's unnecessary. So we are working in a much smarter way and just doing this job instantly for you. We're now happy that these are all the work papers needed, but we can still customize this file further to suit the needs of our client by clicking the Customizer button. This will ask a logical set of questions about the client and tailoring the work papers. What type of client are we working with? Is it a limited company, a partnership, a sole trader? Are they a farmer? Are they VAT registered and do they have payroll costs? Once confirmed, this will refresh our working paper index one more time, tailoring these work papers based on those questions. If we now open up our planning folder, you can see we are presented with a list of work papers in this section. To the right hand side, there are some columns that will automatically populate as we complete work. This is a perfect place for staff, managers or partners to go for visibility over what has been completed and by whom. This can often be difficult to track manually, but using our solution, everything updates and leaves an audit trail. I'm going to start by clicking straight into the B1 planning program. As you can see, we have a slightly different page layout. First, on the left hand side, you have our quick link menu that contains your entire working paper index, including supporting documents, so at any time you can switch to the work paper you need or check here for references. At the top of the page you have the sign off procedure, which we will come back to, and then below this we have the procedures that needed to be worked through. If we now focus on the procedures, you can see we have 8 that we need to complete, and we would work our way through these procedures, ticking off when we have completed the work, and you can see we are leaving a clear audit trail of who completed this and when. We can also add a reference to these procedures, so for example, if we wanted to reference this to a supporting document, or in this case, let's just say the B2, we simply type that in and click it, creating a hyperlink. To the right, you can also write comments or justifications about this procedure if required, making sure that all information is saved on MyWorkpapers. I want to talk about our second layer of customization, as opposed to the first that we spoke about before when we were able to standardize the templates to use across all of your clients. The second layer of customization allows you to make changes to the file at the client level. So if you wanted to add in a specific procedure about the client, or it may be a niche client that requires additional documentation, I'm simply going to click File and then Edit Mode. Edit Mode allows me to add or take away sections, edit procedures, or delete them entirely, or even add in new procedures and checklists. This can be controlled by permissions, but allows you to create a workpaper file that is uniquely specific to your client very easily. Any of these changes will also roll forward into next year, so you only have to enter them once. This means that any specifics to the client can be recorded and documented, rather than being left in the mind of the accountant, causing issues when staff decide to leave, or accounts are transferred over. Closing out of edit mode saves these changes. At the top of the page is where we go to sign off the document. You can see that we have 5 sign-off steps. However, for year-end work, it is likely you are using less. You can tailor this to fit your firm and your internal processes. For example, if I click File and then Edit Sign-off Roles, I can remove both Updated By and Second Review, and I'm going to rename First Review to say Manager Review. So as easy as that, my work papers can be tailored to fit your processes. I'm now going to tick that I've prepared the accounts and that has been reviewed, and you can see it is person stamped and date stamped when this was signed off and by whom. To the right we have our completion box. This is your partner sign off. If I try and tick this now, I get a warning as I have not fully completed the work paper. This warning means I can never accidentally sign this off, however it can be overridden. If I wanted, and you can restrict who can do this, I can bulk sign off the entire page if I know the work has been completed. This is another way that you can see how different people will be collaborating on the file. Note, when complete has been ticked, the page is now locked down. I can no longer add comments or references, or untick any boxes. This is a security measure to make sure no edits are made once locked down. However, if you have the correct permission, you can uncomplete the work paper to make any changes needed. Let's now move on to the next work paper, the B2, Client Setup and Scope. From here, we are asked some key information about this job, the date the work was received, date of completion promised. If client details have already been entered in, they will automatically appear. It is also asking us to look over the B3 budget work paper, which we'll come back to. We have some free text fields to enter in any additional information about the client, but I want to draw your attention to the VAT section at the bottom. You may remember in the customizer we selected that this client was VAT registered. Because of this, the system has provided you with a list of procedures specifically for that. This is represented by the gold links that you can see. If, however, you made a mistake, you can easily change this directly from here and the work paper will update. My work papers is designed to be interactive, intuitive, and to save you time wherever possible. All the tailoring that you've seen today is made so that you don't have to spend the time doing it yourself when it could be automated. I mentioned the budget work paper before. By clicking the hyperlink, the B3, in the reference, we can go straight to it. It's as simple as that, and the preview of that supporting document is now on the screen. This is brand new functionality that will allow you to review supporting documents instantly within my work papers without having to spend time downloading them and opening them up locally. You can do this with any Excel or Word document, and there is also a PDF previewer. The budget work paper that you can see is a standard template that we offer as part of the year-end work paper pack. In most firms, with every engagement, there is an Excel workbook where you'll be doing your reconciliations and recording your workings, usually with a list of tabs along the bottom. This may sound familiar. We provide all these documents for you as a standard, and this solves a number of frustrating problems within an accountancy firm. First of all, standardization. I hear every week from firms where their staff are using different versions of the same spreadsheets, as not all of them have the updated version. By using ours or adding your own to your firm template, you are ensuring that your staff are only presented with the Excel documents that you want them to be completing. This will improve quality of work and mean that when you do make any changes, you can simply do this on the firm template and it will filter down to all of your staff. This preview, from a partner's perspective, this is great, as instantly you can view any supporting documents that have been attached or completed without navigating to different software and away from my work papers, making the sign-off process really simple and really easy to complete. This is also fantastic functionality from the accounts team perspective. Our Office 365 integration means that at a click of a button, they could be editing these supporting documents in the cloud. Your firm will need an Office 365 license to do this, but by simply clicking Open in Office Online, the document will open and we can make any changes that are needed to the budget. Again, without having to navigate ourselves into different software, or downloading the file and re-uploading it. I simply close Office Online down and refresh the page, and my changes have taken effect. Firms using this functionality love it, and the feedback has been that this is exactly the functionality that they have been after, saving them huge amounts of time, not having to handle documents manually between different applications. Scrolling down the page will also show a complete audit trail of any of these changes that have been made to the supporting document. Note to the right of the page, you can also restore the previous versions. Let's complete this document and head back to the working paper index. Now you can see the power of using software. The working paper index has now been updated and you can see the different sections that are now in progress. For example, the planning section is now 67% complete. If we now open the planning section up, we can see the B1 is now complete, but we also have visibility over who has completed it. Visibility is key to track work in progress from both a partner perspective and a staff perspective. My work papers give you this visibility simply by reviewing the working paper index. We're now going to move into our lead schedules. In the options section on the right hand side, I simply select to show lead schedules, head down to the assets section and select the F1-8 Cashier Bank. This is one of our lead schedules. You can see on the left hand side a list of the accounts. There is just one bank account here, but there could be multiple. If I click the plus icon to the right, it gives me the option to leave a comment or description. Once saved, this is then shown below. To the right, you can add in references just like we showed you previously. To the right of that, we can also select tick marks. Not always used on year-end work, but are a common tool for audit-focused firms. Tick marks will allow you to select a symbol that represents an action done. For example, calculation checked is an equal sign, but these can be customised to suit your firm. When you hover over them on the lead schedule, you can also see exactly what that symbol means. The lead schedule brings through the initial figures from the trial balance, shows any adjustments that you have entered into MyWorkpapers, and then the final figures based on those adjustments. Comparatives are shown at the end of the page based on last year's figures. Feedback from our firms say that one of the best things about moving to MyWorkpapers is that once they've completed year 1 and they have started year 2, they generally open up last year's file on a separate screen to view the completed comparatives on the previous year's file. Using MyWorkpapers and storing your files online gives you access to do this from anywhere. So let's now switch into partner mode and imagine we are coming to review this file. I have all the information I need, I can see what the figures are and then any adjustments that have been made, but what I'll expect to see here is some support and documentation, like a bank reconciliation. Now, as a partner reviewing this, I don't produce this set of accounts and I don't have access to these supporting documents, and so I'm going to ask my staff member to add this onto the file. To do this, we use review points. Note, we also have a client portal that you can use to communicate with your clients. You can ask them questions and request documents from the secure portal. It gives them a space where they can respond and upload documents that you have requested to the file. This is a great habit to get your clients into. Today though, I'm going to select create a review point. I then need to choose the type. It could be a partner review point or even a consideration for next year that you want to leave attached to the file ready for year 2. Today it will just be a to-do item. You can see the workpaper reference auto-populates to the workpaper that we are on. I can write what the problem is. Please upload the relevant bank reconciliation for supporting evidence. And then for the sake of the demonstration, I'm just going to assign this to myself. I click create, I then refresh the page, and you can see on the right hand side that that review point is listed. So you can always see if a file has any review points listed along the right hand side. Let's now imagine that you're that staff member and you log in for the first time today. That first screen that you come across is your dashboard. You have instant visibility over the work that has been completed on the file. You can see this on the left hand side through activity feeds. Note, however, on the right hand side, the review point is pulling through to the staff member's dashboard, so I know that I have a job to be getting on with so that my manager can continue his work. I click onto the review point, it takes me into that file and then into the review point page. If I click on that review point, it will expand to show me more information. I can see what the matter was and I can write my own comments. This example is fairly straightforward, but if this was a more complicated question that requires some back and forth, you can use a comment section for this and then just reassign the review point to whomever you need to ask further details from. I also have the reference to the page this review point relates to, so if I click on the F1-8, it will take me straight back to the Cashier Bank. Let's now complete the review point by doing the job. This will show you how easy it is to attach supporting documents onto MyWorkpapers. I simply select the file I want to attach, drag and drop it onto the relevant accounts line. Immediately you are asked where you would like this file to be located, so you can change this. Perhaps you want this to sit in the permanent file section, for example. However, today the software has pre-filled the location based on where I drag the document. It has been given the next sequential form reference available in this section. To me, that's absolutely fine, so I'm going to click OK, and that document has now been saved to MyWorkpapers. You can even see that the reference has automatically been added in to the reference field so that you don't have to do that manually. The most common documents to be added to MyWorkpapers are Word, Excel and PDF documents. As you briefly saw earlier, all of these documents can be previewed, so if I click into this reference now, I can preview that supporting document, tick that I am happy and move on. This saves a huge amount of time not having to keep downloading documents to view them outside of MyWorkpapers. Since we released this functionality, feedback from our firms is that the reviewing process had become much more efficient and easier to complete. Now we have completed the task, I'm going to go back to the review point and we can tick that it has been completed. And as always, we have an audit trail of who completed it. You may want to send this back to the manager so that they can also tick off that this has been completed. Once completed, this will sit on the file. Now this has all been recorded, at the end of each year we would always suggest taking 4 or 5 of your engagement files and looking through the review points. As with every review point, time is being wasted by multiple people. If you find any common review points, we would recommend you add these into your checklists and programs as things to do rather than as a review point. Now that's been completed, we are going to look at how to add in a journal entry into MyWorkpapers so that you're able to post adjustments on a file. On the navigation bar at the top, I'm going to click into the journal entry screen. I add in my journal description, in this case it will be an interest adjustment, and click add. Select the type of adjustment to be adjusted so it pushes through to the accounts immediately. The date is correct. If I wanted to, I could add in a reference here and relate the journal back to support and documentation. I'm going to add in my account lines. You simply search for the account code or name that's required, and I'm going to simply choose my bank account and also my interest account. I'll do £1,000 credit, and you can see that before I can proceed I must fill in the other side, so I'm going to add in £1,000 debit and click off at the side of the screen. This journal has now been completed and will have hit the trial balance. These journals can be as complicated or as simple as you like. Note you are able to export these journals into Excel so that you can update your bookkeeping software with any adjustments that have been made. If we head back to our trial balance, you can see the journal we entered has now hit the trial balance, and you can see the initial figures, any adjustments and the final figures. If you have added a journal to an account that was not here on initial import, be aware you may need to map this to the appropriate lead schedule. Now we've added on our journals, let's imagine we've completed all of our work and we're now ready to export this out to accounts production. We can export your data into .csv under the Tools section. If you are using Iris Accounts Production, we have a seamless integration that will import your data directly. Switching across to Iris, I've already selected my client and created a new posting period for this year. From here, I simply select the postings, choose to import my final trial balance, and then select the mapping structure that we imported into MyWorkpapers. In this case, it's 0. We map any codes that were not automatically coded on import. This integration is loved by our Iris users, saving them time keying in trial balance data manually or exporting into CSV. That's now loaded up all of my data into Iris Accounts Production. Heading back to MyWorkpapers and the working paper index, let's imagine we've now completed the job. All the progress bars are now blue 100% and showing as complete. We have exported the trial balance, and from here we will go ahead and complete and archive the file. However, I actually want to prepare this file ready for next year. We're speaking to accounting firms every day that are spending 30 to 90 minutes simply preparing files every single year for each client. Collating all the information together, in most cases printing off the entire methodology, sorting through what is or isn't relevant for the file, and then getting started. With MyWorkpapers, we simply roll this file forward, ready for next year. To do this, I head to the dashboard, I select the drop-down menu on the Files tab and click Roll Forward. I enter in the client name and you can see the file's details are auto-populating, but you can adjust these if necessary. Once you're happy, click Next. On this page, we can choose what we want to roll forward. Most of our firms will roll forward everything by ticking the checkbox. This ensures that all customizations, supporting documents, and review points get copied over. Your permanent file section is a good example of those documents that you have to collate together every single year. However, we simply roll them forward. You can deselect workpapers if you do not wish to move them forwards into next year's file. For example, the bank reconciliation we uploaded earlier, we can simply deselect it if we don't want it. I can also choose to roll forward specific review points, such as only the considerations for next year. We can roll forward the workflow, which I'll come on to very shortly, and also roll forward the customizer so that it is pre-filled when you start next year's file, and you can choose to not copy over any of the supporting documents if you so wish. I click Next and go through a simple check to make sure I haven't missed any workpapers that I wanted to import, and click Continue. I have now rolled forward the file and it took about a minute to complete. In comparison to the firms that are taking 30 to 90 minutes, this means we could potentially be saving you 90 minutes per client every single year. This is a huge benefit to you. What else could you be doing with this time? And what is that labour cost saving you from this? Generally, this is one of the biggest time-saving features. Just to prove that this is rolled forward successfully, I'm going to go back into the planning section and you can see that our reference and the notes that we added on before are still here. If we head back across to the trial balance, you will also be able to see our balances from last year's file have now been moved to our prior year. Going back to the working paper index, you can see that we are being prompted to import this year's trial balance. Using the roll forward ensures that your year 2 is as efficient as possible, saving you all of that wasted time that could be used elsewhere. Do note, that you can also export the entire file as a zip file that can be stored locally or given to an independent reviewer if needed. That now completes our demonstration of the key features and benefits of MyWorkpapers year-end when working within a file. However, we also provide a set of practice management tools which will help you to manage and track the progress of your files through to completion. The first tool we're going to look at is the workflow diagram. When you consider the working paper index consists of a set list of work papers ordered by reference folders, it is essentially a job list in itself. However, if we really want to standardise how our staff are working and how our engagements are completed, we need to provide guidance to our staff on how we want these files to be completed. This is what the workflow diagram tool is used for. This is a simple standard template that we have created. However, the expectation is that this will replicate your own workflow within your firm. This can be as complicated or as simple as you like, but it is used to map the workflow of the file so that your staff are all following the same process. We are told by most accountants that they have staff working in different ways or different teams under different managers that have different ways of completing a file. The drawback of this is if everybody is completing work different ways, you have a varying quality of work. This will also make it very difficult for you to make changes to your processes to make improvements within your firm. You can see in this case, I need to go ahead and complete the B1, the B2 and B3 and tick that they have been completed. Then I'll move on to setting up the file and mapping the trial balance. Once all the tasks are done, this section turns green and I can move on to the next. This is also another great area of the software that could be used to track the progress of the file and see where you are up to. Another scenario is where you've had a staff member suddenly go off ill and you have a deadline due. Now all of your staff are working the same way. Any one of them could pick up this job, head to the workflow diagram and pick up where their colleague left off. Let's now move on to our next tool and we head back to our dashboard. As previously said, the dashboard gives you an overview of all your clients' data in real time that you're invited into. If we head to the tab called Review Points, this will now show all of the review points for all of the files that you're invited into. This tool could be used a number of ways by different members of staff. For example, as a partner, you could check up and make sure that that new member of staff is completing their review points. You could reassign work if you needed to due to sickness, or because deadlines are coming up and you need to spread the workload out. As a member of staff, you may want to check up on the work you have outstanding. If I select the filters option, I can filter these review points by client name, who they're assigned to and who assigned them, the status of the review point and also the type of review point. In this instance, I want to look at all the review points assigned to Mike the manager, and to check and see if Mike has anything left unresolved. Once that refreshes, perfect, I can see that I'm now completely up to date with all of my work. The last tool I want to run through with you is our Workflow Manager. This tool is used to track progress on jobs and to help manage your clients. At first, this tool will list every single client that you are invited into, so that you have visibility over everything. You can then filter this down by what you want to see. So for example, if I wanted to look at the client files we've been working on today, I'm going to change my filter to year end, and you can also see that Bob is listed down here on the left hand side. I can see the additional file where we rolled it forward, and then this will show me the progress of the file. For example, if we look at our 2018 file, we can see how many people have access to the file. We can track the progress of the file. Importantly, we can see the status of the file. This is used to track where the job is at. As an example, if you're coming in at the end of the week to review the files that have been completed, you could just do a search for the status ready for review, and a list will populate for you to work on. I can see how many review points have or have not been completed. Importantly, there is a column here for deadlines. What most firms do is back on the workflow diagram, when they set up the file, one of their first procedures is to set the deadline date here, because then you can work a bit smarter by doing a search for all of your clients that have a deadline due in the next month or in the next 3 months and start planning your resources accordingly. This now completes the demonstration of my WorkPapers year end. I just want to quickly run through some core benefits for you to take away. Access anywhere, collaboration in the cloud, secure and hosted in the UK, MyWorkpapers allows you to access your files from anywhere, allowing you to collaborate with colleagues from the office, from home, or even at the clients. Standardise across your firm and improve quality. Get everybody using the same content. Even if it's not our standard templates, customise your own and begin to complete these jobs like a factory line. This will mean your quality of work will be consistent and allow you to improve it. Visual real-time data when you want it. You have seen our dashboards keep you up to date with work. The Workflow Manager will help you to track jobs and make managing your workload simple and effective. Efficiencies gained through intelligent automation. Use that customizer to tailor your work papers. The trial balance will automatically generate the required work papers for you. This means you will no longer have to spend time on file prep for each client. Seamless transfer of data between applications. We integrate with leading providers in the UK, so you no longer have to key in your trial balance. Our Office integrations allow for simple previews while reviewing the files, but complex edits when completing reconciliations. Take the next step towards a paperless office. No more will printing your files out every year be necessary, and no more will you have a huge stationery bill to pay. And obviously, no more will you have stacks of files using up space in the office that could be used for a better purpose. User-friendly software your staff want to use. What type of firm do you want to be? One of the biggest problems for accountancy firms is staff retention and acquisition. Know how to attract the best accountants by using modern and forward-thinking technology like ours in your practice. So how do we get MyWorkpapers set up in your firm? Implementation. We offer an implementation plan to get you and your staff up and running with MyWorkpapers across your firm. We ensure the right people within your firm are engaged with us to make a successful transition. From sending out launch communications, setting up phase planning if required, we even tailor our user roles and permissions to fit how you want MyWorkpapers to work with your staff. Our training consists of on-site or online courses to make sure all staff have the knowledge to effectively use the software, and we can also help you out with your client upload and template creation. If you wanted a template specific to your firm, please contact us to learn more. Pricing. You can purchase packs of files for 12-month subscriptions. It's unlimited users with no extra costs and unlimited data storage. Do feel free to contact us now. You can email us at sales.uk@myworkpapers.com or call us on 020 3519 9104. And lastly, thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found it very, very useful. Please do contact us. We're very keen to speak to you about your firm and how we can help.